Majority Report with Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
It is Monday, October 20th, 2025. My name is Sam Seder. This is the five-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Jasper Nathaniel, publisher of the Infinite Jazz on Substack, currently in the West Bank. Also on the program today, Israel continues to bomb Gaza despite supposed ceasefire. It's day 20 of the government shutdown. We're weeks away from millions on federal food assistance from losing that. We also, feds, as of today, are furloughing most of the workforce overseeing the U.S. nuclear stockpile. No Kings protests across the country Saturday. Perhaps the largest in the history of the United States, drew between 5.5 and 8.5 million people to the streets. Meanwhile, U.S. Marines, encouraged by Vice President J.D. Vance to hold a celebration, detonate a shell over Interstate 5 in California by mistake. Convicted, disgraced former Congressperson George Santos gets a commutation by Trump because, of course, U.S. kills more boaters in the Caribbean, then release two who survived the strike to their home countries, despite being alleged narco-terrorists.
Weird.
Huh. Trump pressures Zelensky in meeting with Putin to give up territory for peace. Trump then floats subsidies for Argentinian beef imports to help with the rising price of meat in this country. And the Coast Guard, you'll be happy to know, buys 2 private jets for Kristi Noem. One presumably for Kristi, and I guess the other for Corey Lewandowski.
Oh, no, they want to be on the same
Wait, they're
flight.
on the same boat.
The other one's for her husband.
Oh, yes. For $172 million. All this and more on today's Majority Report. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. It is
Monday.
not Fun Day Monday?
Oh, Fun Day Monday. Yes, yes.
I mean, fair. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully many of you have your own No Kings stories. There were people out in all of the major cities, millions of people out in the major cities across the country. I was up in Kingston, New York, and there was, hard to say, but I would say at least like 2,000 to 5,000 people there marching through the city. Ryan spoke, the congressman for the 18th district was there. I went with my daughter, which was fun.
Very fun.
And I've just heard from people all across the country that there was tons. Let's take a look at what we have up here.
Yeah, this is, I guess...
It's footage from Minneapolis, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York City was packed, San Diego, Boston, insane. We're getting people just on the IMs right now. Yosemite, Sam Cedar. I live in a tiny town in North Carolina. There was at least 300 or 400 people protesting there. Cho says we had 10,500 to show up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're going to see more come in. Estimated 125,000 people out in Boston. That's crazy. Let's play a couple more clips. What else do we have here?
This is Arkansas, just in case any Republicans watching think, oh, these are just blue, degenerate urban areas. No.
They're
Release
saying
the
release the
files.
files in Arkansas. Left is
Monsters
Strage says Albany protest, miles of people lined up on the busiest sections of the road. Tom Cotton's Beard, 2,000 in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. In Juneau, Alaska, says Uday and Kusei Lutnick, 750. Mego, 2,000 in Peoria, Illinois. Hopeful, 900 in Haverhill, Mass. That's pretty good. Ramona Frankenstein, small town I grew up in New Hampshire, at least 200 people. Long Island popped out big, says Nassau County spokesperson.
All right.
Easy 10,000 plus in New Orleans. Carly Chirk. Denver, 25 to 35,000, says Saturn Girl. Wilmington, population 127, 7K showed up. Adam Lefty. This is where?
Idaho.
Here is Boise, Idaho. Population of Democrats. This may be,
Pound for pound, the most Republican
the
state
most
in the
Republican
country.
state in the country.
Yeah. I do like that they're still patriotic here. That's their form of protest. That makes sense.
Clearwater, 6,000 in Eau Claire. 3,000 in Newburyport, Maine. I mean, it really dramatic numbers across the board here.
And it pissed Trump off, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Let's show Donald Trump's reaction. It was, I mean, you could say on some level he pooped himself, but he decided to aim that poop on the American public.
Great. Here
it is.
It has a copywritten song, so this is a silent
okay.
version.
This is him. Okay, pause it for a second. It's him flying a fighter jet. Now, of course, this is fiction. Donald Trump would never be able to fit into a fighter jet.
Yeah,
with
look
all
at
due
that
respect.
torso.
He also, the best part is, look at, the mask is not even over his nose.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. He can breathe up there.
I don't need the face diaper up here.
There's no COVID on Mars.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. And it's the...
It says King Trump on the side.
Yeah, and the idea, of course, is to sort of like play into it. But what's impressive is that they spent all of the past week or two talking about this as as it's going to be full of Antifa fighters and ninja fighters and Hamas and Hezbollah and what is like a Red Dawn,
America hating
and,
Marxists,
and on and on. And then, of course, all they're talking about now is it was all boomers, it was all old people.
I mean, compared to the pro-Palestine protesters, yeah, I would say it skews a little bit older, but that doesn't mean that this is not like a show of major discontent with Donald Trump. Like, that's what matters, is that people were motivated enough to get out on a Saturday and protest this administration.
Oh, I'll tell you something. They're nervous about this because if they are right, and my experience was that it was most of the people I saw were Gen X or boomers out there, at least up in Kingston. I was with my daughter. I mean, I saw young people as well, but that was, I would say probably 45, 40 and older were the majority of people. In midterm elections, like the amount of the electorate these people represent is extremely high.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
the boomer
seem
part.
very, very motivated.
Can we just play a little bit more
We
of
didn't
this?
Oh
to
yeah,
the-
yeah.
we
Sorry,
didn't get to the poop.
we didn't get to the part where he's on his jet and he basically. Now I don't know how this works. Brian, you've been in the military, but
not
I
Air
can't
Force.
imagine they would have let you in the Air Force. But but I don't know if it works this way where they actually put a pipe that goes from the seat, because of course
I know.
you can't relieve yourself if this goes from the flight suit but here you see Donald Trump with just massive diarrhea coming out of him through the airplane.
I mean, right, exactly. How much did he eat that day?
Yeah, I mean, it was
Same
pretty
amount.
Light lunch.
He's the president. You guys have to respect him.
At least he wasn't wearing a tan suit. When he was flying
You're
on the
right.
plane.
You're right.
You guys want to divide us all the time. You got to support our president.
Now, I've seen like a little bit of some cynicism about these protests, and obviously the protests mean nothing if there's no organizing that comes out of this. But at least at the protest that I went to, there were a lot of tents. There was a lot of like tables set up. People are organizing. There is no doubt in my mind. Now, let's assume there were close to, I would imagine there were closer to 8 million than 5.5 million, because there's so many towns where you had 1,000 people come out, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people that are just not going to be recorded. But if even just a tiny percentage of those begin to organize and they have access to those people who were there, it is helpful. And as far as the No Kings thing, at one point, my hope is that those involved in the anti-oligarch tour that went around, like Sanders and AOC, and people who fight oligarchies and concentrations of wealth and power. When we think about kings, that's what the kings were. They were just like, they didn't just have a monopoly of power, they had a monopoly of wealth and resources. That was like almost like definitionally what the king was. And we obviously don't have the same system of government, but the problem, it remains the same. I cannot remember the name of the professors we had on who had written that book, The Anti-Oligarchic Constitution. Pat Ryan up at Kingston, his speech was talking about the Declaration of Independence.
Fishkin and Forbath.
Yeah, Fishkin and Forbath, talking about the idea of no kings in the Declaration of Independence. But the concept of kings, when we talk about someone who has a monopoly of power and wealth, really sort of like the monopoly of power came first and the wealth just followed, because they were able to say, we'll take all the wealth because I have this army.
Yeah.
But the idea of monopoly of wealth, giving that type of oligarchic power, this is what we're fighting against.
And that's why there's some people that are cynical about, like, it seems a little designed to avoid the question of capitalism. But I don't think that story is finished yet, to your point. You know, there's still an opportunity to connect it to what we've been saying about oligarchy and taxation. It's just that it kind of fits into what we're saying about what we were saying last week about the Democrats losing credibility by being undemocratic in their lack of responsiveness to their base, right? If the only message is that of democracy, we cannot do that again.
Well, I mean,
they
here's
leaned
the
into
thing.
that with Kamala Harris, and it was not potent enough to overcome people's obvious material reality.
Here's the thing. The oligarchy we have now is only a function of capitalism because that is the path that we have been on. There are other ways to get to oligarchy. We can see it around the globe. And so it's to say that the problem is capitalism is to elide the fact that the problem is oligarchy. The way in which we got to oligarchy, we in this country, as opposed to, let's say, Russia, did not head to oligarchy because of capitalism. It was an injection of perhaps a form of capitalism, but with a pre-existing structure that was also problematic. It is important to address the oligarchy, and King's is a childlike way of saying oligarchy.
FDR got to economic royalists. and
Exactly.
I would say that conditions are going to force us in that direction as well, even if there's a resistant part of the Democratic Party that doesn't want to talk about it.
And then the question is, like, once it's become clear that we have a monopoly of power and of wealth and a concentration of wealth that does not serve democracy, the question is like, well, how did we get here? And that, in our particular case, it is capitalism. And there's going to have to be a change to renew democraty.
Yep.
It's going to have to come from a different system that we have practiced that brought us to this point. But we'll have more to talk about that. But a couple of words from our sponsors, and then we're going to be talking to Jasper Nathaniel from the West Bank. And folks, check out his Substack, Infinite Jazz. Much of the footage we're going to be talking about is going to be available there, and a piece that he wrote in the Paris Review. But first, like I say, words from our sponsor. Oh, this is easy. This morning, when I got out of bed, I got out of my Cozy Earth sheets. They are fantastic. They are temperature regulating. I don't want to go into it, but I had some problem with my neck. After the show Friday, you saw me rubbing my neck. Saturday, I was laid out. It was a real problem. I got a heating pad, but the rest of me is cool because of my Cozy Earth sheets. I love their joggers. I love their hoodie. In fact, I think that one of them, because I have two as a backup, was absconded with by a child of mine. I'm not going to get into it. But Cozy Earth bamboo sheets, they are temperature regulating, guaranteed to give you a comfortable night's sleep. They are made from viscose, I should say, which is from bamboo, naturally wick away heat and moisture from your body, helping you sleep several degrees cooler, but they are incredibly soft. They have something called the Bubble Cuddle blanket, which is an ultra soft blanket, offers a combination of comfort and style. This midweight faux fur blanket is great for lounging anywhere in your home. I've given Cozy Earth PJs as a gift.
Same. To my mother-in-law, and it was like
T-shirt, all this stuff.
I get compliments about it all the time. So
I honestly, I don't know what to tell you. There is not a single Cozy Earth purchase I have made that I am not excited about. With the sheets, you get a 100-night sleep trial. You try them out. If you don't love them, return them hassle-free. You will not do that, I can assure you. They have a 10-year warranty because once you feel this level of comfort, you want it to last a decade. And I actually have had sheets that have worn out, if you can believe it. I'm that type of spendthrift. Thanks, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring this episode. Head to CozyEarth.com. Use our code Majority Report for up to 20% off. That's CozyEarth.com. Code is Majority Report. If you get a post-purchase survey, tell them you heard about Cozy Earth right here, because home isn't just where you live, it's how you feel. Let's go home with Cozy Earth. Also sponsoring the program, something else also been incredibly helpful to me. Fall always feels like a reset. You got back to school for me, busier routine, shorter days. I have no time to cook, particularly at this point in the season. And that's why I love Factor. They have chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals that make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. I want to thank Factor. It's a HelloFresh company for supporting the Majority Report. Go to factormeals.com/majority50off, majority50 off, and use the code majority50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for a year. I've had, first of all, it's super easy. The stuff comes in packaging. Almost all the packaging is totally recyclable. And I put in at the beginning of the week 6 meals, 2 for Saul, 2 for me. No, 3 for me, 3 for Saul. And it is the perfect amount of food. He'll eat his vegetables. He likes more pasta stuff, maybe with a little bit of pork. Sometimes no. I like maybe occasionally, like I'll have a lamb chop or chicken. He's also loves the chicken stuff, but they have all sorts of type of meals. A whole different range of palettes if you want like different types of menus. If you like doing a keto thing, they can do that. They do family friendly. I mean, it really is fantastic. You can support your wellness goals, even more GLP-1 friendly meals and new Mediterranean diet options packed with protein and good for you fats. They have global flavors, Asian inspired meals, bold flavors influenced by China, Thailand, and more. 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference no matter your routine. I also understand now why people have, what do you call it? Microwaves.
Oh,
Really,
yeah.
honestly, the first time I
It's
ever used
convenient.
microwaves.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes, and the meals are done. Eat smart at factormeals.com/majority50 off. And use the code majority50 off to get 50 off your first box, plus free breakfast for a year. That's code majority50 off at factormeals.com. 50% off your first box, plus free breakfast for a year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with the code and a qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. We'll put the link in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. Quick break. When we come back, Jasper and Nathaniel. We are back. Sam Seder, Emma Vigeland on the Majority Report. It is a pleasure to welcome back to the program, and I'm glad to see you're in one piece. Jasper Nathaniel, he's the publisher of the Infinite Jazz on Substack. Jasper, you're currently in the West Bank. I just want to say just up front, like during the Iraq War, we as a show helped raise funds for a guy who had gone in, because most of the people were embedded, gone in on his own, had like traversed across the border. And the kind of work you're doing in the West Bank is so important. I think we're going to see the implications of it just on these people's lives in a bit. But just to have an independent journalist in the West Bank who is able to not have to worry about an editor getting their stories up there or having it killed up the line, because frankly, most news organizations at this point that have in this country, who have the means to send somebody to the West Bank, tend to be a little bit sensitive and in terms of like posting stuff that is in any way revelatory about the way that Israel operates or things are operating in the West Bank. So I just want to like start with that, aside from like the obvious sort of like physical danger you were in yesterday. But it just, I appreciate the work you're doing there, and I hope folks will go and support the work you're doing there as well.
Thank you. That was very nice. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, people here are always saying, like, why is it so unusual to see, like, that people find it unusual that I'm there as an independent journalist. And that's weird to me. This is like one of the worst conflicts in the world, with its implications included. And it's weird that I am like it's weird that people are saying it's unusual to see somebody like me, I have to say. I mean, like what happened yesterday, which we'll get into, that's happening every single day, every single day. And it's crazy that like, this is the first time, or it's not the first time. It's crazy that like this, it just broke through because I posted it online.
Yeah, I mean, let's get to this. This footage is going to be, there's a bit of it, but why don't you just tell us, like, it starts out at 7:40 in the morning. Tell us what's going on with this settler blocking. Set the table for us and we'll play the video.
Okay, so I'm in the town of Termis Aya, which is it's like outside of Ramallah. It's an interesting place because it's 85% American citizens. So the vast majority of people who live here are Palestinian Americans who basically go back and forth, and it's a pretty wealthy town. So this is a place that has been like pretty insulated from settler violence and just general occupation violence for many decades. Not completely insulated, but relatively speaking, it's been okay. Really just until the last couple of years is when it's gotten bad. What it comes down to is these settlers are setting their sights higher. The farmhouses in this agricultural land are like little mansions. The land itself is like beautiful and lush. And so this is not something that happens here all the time. It happens all across the West Bank, but these are not people who are used to dealing with, these violent settlers. So anyway, the violence has been getting worse. And basically, like, there's this whole swath of agricultural land between the two settlements, Shiloh and Adead, and then the town of Termis Aya. The land has gradually been taken by settlers who show up, build an outpost. They basically prop up a tent, put an Israeli flag, and then suddenly two tents, and then like if you go near them, you get shot. And so over the last couple of years, almost all of their land has become inaccessible to them. So they decided yesterday they were going to go out for the first time this year, all as a unit. So there was basically like a caravan of farmers and their workers who all driving out together at 7 a.m. So I think what you're about to show is like 2 minutes into that drive, basically. And
I just want to mention this. I know this is on the, I know it was originally in the Paris Review, but it's now on the top, I think, of your Substack. You wrote a piece I don't know, 10 days ago, 12 days ago, that talks about folks, I think from this town, American citizens who are here who have been trying to get the U.S. government to pay attention to the fact that American citizens have been killed in and around these areas to absolutely no avail. It's heartbreaking. But all right, let's play this clip.
Can I just say one thing about that? I'm literally in the house of Mohammed Zahir Ibrahim, who is a 16-year-old Palestinian American kid who's been in Israeli military detention since February. I'm staying with his family right now. So that's how close we are to the place where these Americans are being killed and abducted.
Okay. Let's play this clip now. 7:38 in the morning. Go ahead.
That's it?
We can't get through. He has a gun.
He has a gun?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Where's the gun?
In his right hand.
Oh, yeah. That's a gun, all right.
Okay, so you can hear you and your driver, I guess, who was driving.
That's the farmer. Like, it's his land that we're going to, Yasser, and he's an American lawyer. So, you know, he owns land in the West Bank, and he also has a home in Anaheim where he runs a family law practice. So that's who you hear throughout a lot of these videos.
Okay. And so these guys, these settlers just come down. I mean, this is the dynamic that I think people don't fully understand is the settlers try and like push the boundaries literally. And they sort of do it with this sort of like tacit approval of the IDF, or there's this sort of like the IDF is supposed to like constrain them, but sometimes does and sometimes doesn't. I mean, there's okay. And
well, in this instance, it appears like they were were directly collaborating, right, Jasper? Because if they okay.
Let's get ahead. So we're at the next one. This is
but just to address what you just said, like these settlers most likely have been sleeping in a farmhouse owned by one of the farmers trying to get out to his olive grove. So they wake up, come out of the farmhouse that belongs to someone, look in their binoculars, see the Palestinians coming out, get their gun, go down and block the road. So like that's how perverse this is. Like they're literally staying in the homes built by people trying to get to their land.
Okay, let's go to the next one after that. This is part 3. Yeah, let's go to part 3. This is where you guys drive around, try and find a different area, and then you at 8:37 a.m. you get out of the car to go talk to the IDF.
Do you want me to give context on it first?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, like we got blocked by the settler with the gun. We found another route. We actually made it to the olive groves, which was like a really nice surprise for everybody. The farmer that I was with, Yasser, realized very quickly that his trees had no olives on them, which was probably just a bad season. So we decided to leave. So we go back to leave the way we came, and there's settlers blocking that way. So then we go back to leave the other way, and there's just an army jeep in the middle of the road, and we don't know what to do. And so we talk about it, me and Yasser, and decide of the two of us, I'm less likely to get shot if I approach them because I'm white. So this is me. My phone is in my pocket because I didn't want them to see me recording, but walking up the hill, my hands in the air, they're pointing their guns at me, and I'm going to go basically ask them if they will please help us get back into the village.
Your phone's in your pocket here.
Do you speak English? We just need help getting out because the settlers over there are blocking us. This is the only other way.
Where you want to go?
Just back to Termasaya. Back to the village, that's it. Yeah, just want to go home. No, I live in America, I'm visiting.
Your family here?
No?
No.
I'm here for the olives.
Do you have passport?
In the car.
Bring it.
Bringing passport?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So then he's like, do you have a picture on your phone? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And then they're like, you know what? You're fine. Go to the car and come through. So he gives us the green light to go.
They were looking for a picture on your phone? Do you think they were?
No, they wanted to know if I had a picture of my passport on my phone.
Oh, okay. Because they clearly were like, do you have family here? They want to know if you're not Palestinian type of thing is what they're asking. Okay.
You're just visiting.
Yeah.
Did you deliberately not mention that you were a journalist there in that instance, just to kind of, right? I mean, that's smart.
Yeah, I just like path of least resistance.
Right.
I don't. In hindsight, maybe just wanted to try the olives was not the most obvious thing I could have said, but.
That came off as a little snippy. Maybe like something like, I'm just a Jew who loves olives, and something like that.
It was off the cuff. Really.
Well, I mean, I imagine at that point, like there's a little like rising intensity. Okay, and so,
So I walk down the hill.
Yeah.
I go. Yasser's waiting there with the car. I get in. I'm like, great news. They said they will help us out. They'll help us get out. So then we drive up the hill, and is the next video you're going to play where we talked? Okay, so then you're going to hear. We get up to the top of the hill. The soldier gets out of the car, puts his hand out, is like, stop. So we're waiting, and then you'll hear me ask him a question, I think.
Settlers they're protecting. Right here.
Oh, sorry. Pause it.
Pause it.
Once we get up there, I realize there's settlers up there too. Not just any settlers, but it's the guy who had the gun who we saw in the morning is there on an ATV with another settler.
So they have been tracking you guys and are following you this way. They're basically coming to head you off at this other pass. Okay.
Correct. And so we are thinking, okay, the soldiers are going to help us get by these guys, basically. And like, just to state the obvious, like, not every settler carries a gun. When one of them is carrying a gun, it's a completely different situation. Like, you know that they could kill you at any moment, and they will. So like, you really just don't take any risks at all when you encounter a settler with a gun.
And then you can go, okay? Oh, you're going to move them? Yes. Oh, thank you.
So I'm like, are you going to move the settlers? Like, yeah.
Oh, they posit. They offer, we're going to move them.
Yes.
And then you can go. So they're saying it.
Correct.
That's the IDF. Yeah.
Correct. That's the idea. He says, we're going to move them and then you can go. And I'm like, great. They're going to move the settlers. And then the next thing that happens, which I did not get on video, is the IDF Jeep just speeds off, just disappears into the dust, and leaves us with the two settlers on the ATV. And then there's also another car of a Palestinian farmer and his workers, and their windshield was completely smashed and their tires were slashed because the settlers on the ATV had just done that to his car. And so now it's us, the car with the windshield broken and the slashed tires, and then the two settlers on the ATV. Which one are you playing next, Sam? And then
this one is we get in the cars, drive off, but the smashed car gets stuck, so I try and get out to help the settlers.
Yeah, so basically, not to help the settlers.
I mean, the settlers appear to have left at that point.
So the settlers the guy on the ATV like sort of like goes off, and we're like, oh, great, okay. And then we start to leave, and then I realize that the car with the slashed tire is not able to get out, which, you know, in hindsight, duh. So I get out of the car and I go offer to help him. And when I'm outside pushing the car is when, about 100 zombie-like savage settlers just appear out of the hills and start chasing me. So just to like spell it out, listen, I don't have any definitive proof that the IDF knew they were there or that they set it up or whatever. But what I do know is that the IDF was up there. They said they would help move the settlers. They then left us with two settlers in plain sight that they saw. And then about 100 more immediately appeared and came after us. So I find it very unlikely that they did not know there was 100 people in the bushes right behind them.
Okay, and then you turn, and there's 15. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is me running away from the settlers. This is like the moment the attack sort of starts in earnest.
Hey, press! Press! American press! American press!
Didn't work.
Press!
We're trying to get to a torched car.
What'd you say, Jasper?
The siren that you're hearing is a Palestinian fire truck was trying to get to a car that had been torched.
I'm almost trying to find the footage, the wider shot of you.
Then there's another shot from a distance, right? That
Should be. Are you on the Substack? Are you on the Substack video?
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
It's right now.
Okay. This is another angle, and you can see Jasper in the black shirt running and trying to shoot over his shoulder with his phone.
In hindsight, I would have put my phone away a little bit earlier.
Here they come. When you refer to them as zombie-like, this is it. Literally, it looks. There's that.
Like the 28 days ones.
And what is that car? And that car is the one that they had slashed. Yes,
they dragged the driver and the passenger out of the car, and miraculously they both escaped. So then, basically, what happens is me and the two guys in the car are running for our lives. This group is chasing us down the hill. Like this is like a big hill, and we're running down the hill. The village is basically at the bottom of the hill, and they're coming after us. And as we're running, we'll run into other people who had been there harvesting and didn't know this was happening. So then they would start running too. So it's like it becomes basically just a whole group of people running. And then the guy who we will see in a moment with a big club, he was like, I don't know if he is the leader or if he is just the cruelest or the biggest warrior or whatever, but he was like on my tail, hunting me down, basically chasing me. And I get to Yasser, the farmer I was with, I get to his car and I get in, and I immediately start filming again. And so I think the next clip you'll play is right after that chase. I get to the car and the crowd is right behind us.
They're literally right behind us. Oh, he's right here. He's right. Let's smash ruin. Here he is. Here he is. Get ready. Yeah, there it is. Are the doors locked? Oh, fuck.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so he's trying to get into the car. Obviously, he smashes the rear windshield. So basically, there's like a line of cars now trying to escape. I thought that we didn't realize that there was anybody still out. Like we thought that everybody had like either made it out or gotten into a car or something. I wasn't sure about the two guys who were in the car because I hadn't been with them. But in terms of like everybody else, we think everyone is gone. And then we see the guy who had just smashed our windshield, who had been chasing me, come across the side of the car. And then we look ahead and there's a woman by herself, like maybe 30 feet ahead of us, picking olives. And I will tell you, both me and Yasser, we talked about this a lot today. Like both of us thought there's no way he's going to attack her. There's just no way. I mean, she's an older woman. She's by herself. She's so clearly defenseless, picking olives. Like this is a huge guy. He's got a club. Like what kind of a absolute monster would attack her? And so the next clip is what happens.
And just we should tell people this is a little bit graphic and content warning. This is pretty upsetting to watch. This is an Israeli settler who sees this elderly woman picking olives, and this is what he does.
You got it.
Oh, come on. Don't fucking hit her. Hey! Oh, my God. Hey! Hey! Hey!
So then we're like tracking with him, and he now it's just like there's other people just standing there, and so we are now like trying to get people into our car away from him, and he is just like going to town on people. And keep in mind, there's tons of settlers behind him. So there's a stampede going on. This guy is just out in front. You can see one or two others in it, but the next thing that happens is there's two activists, and I want to give a lot of credit to these international activists who tend to stay anonymous. But I mean, these guys really put themselves right in the line of fire. And so then I think the next thing you'll see is him attacking two activists. One of them broke his arm, broke his leg, got a concussion, stitches in his head. The other, I don't know the extent of their injuries, but they're both pretty seriously injured.
Holy shit. Hey! Oh, no. Hey, get it, get it, get it!
And are those activists able to get into your car?
I get out of the car pretty soon after that. So yes, one of the injured activists is then carried into the car. The one who broke his arm and his leg and got a concussion is then, it's not on camera, but he's then brought into the car right when I get out of the car. This is, I think the next clip is just our car getting attacked again. Because again, like they're still here.
Right.
They're
Let's
everywhere.
go to the next.
Let me say one more thing, Sam. The activists and journalists, but primarily the activists, like are told explicitly, like there's a whole system here of protective presence. There's these big organizations that run it, and one of the number one rules is you don't fight back, which is it's crazy to imagine. Like if you're getting attacked, or if you see somebody else getting attacked, what do you mean you don't fight back? And the reason is not because the activists could get hurt. It's because if you fight back and you hurt somebody, the settlers will come back the next day and punish the village for what you did to them. So a lot of like activists in the past will try to be a hero, right? They try to step in, they try to fight the settlers, they try to get in between, and every single time, it's not the activists that pay, or in some cases, the activist gets injured from it, obviously. But the point is the settlers then take it out on the Palestinians. So that's why you're seeing like it's completely one-sided. Also, they have the weapons, obviously, but just some context.
I'm gonna get out here. No. Somebody needs to document this. Let her in. You get in. You get in.
امين اسرع حزم جمعي تعال شوي يلا ساعد يا
And which car now next? They light a car. The settlers, Israeli settlers, at that point, then light a car on fire.
Yeah, they torched a couple cars, but like it's like so. After I helped get the injured woman into a car, there's like settlers still kind of hovering, but they're like starting to disperse and go back up the hill because they've gotten close to the village now where they might actually meet like a larger group of people than them. And so then I see just this car up in flames. I think it's the car that had been smashed earlier, but I actually don't know what car it was. But I mean, after it was over, it was just like it was carnage. I mean, there were just people screaming, like so many people hurt. And I just want to say one thing. Right before we went on, the BBC published an article about this, and like it's pretty accurate. Like they interviewed me for it, but the IDF in their statement claims that the confrontation dispersed after they arrived. The IDF never arrived. They never came. They left right before it started, but they absolutely, not only did they not disperse it, they did not show up. So again, like imagine an event this big, over 100 settlers involved in an attack, and like the army just doesn't even show up. So
can you
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. Go ahead.
How would they know? I mean, like, give us a sense of how they would know. Is it possible the IDF, like, okay, we know that the two soldiers who are on the presumably on the highest point in that area sped off just before this happens. Is there any other way? So you know, there's some reason to believe that this was sort of like.
You're asking, do they have plausible deniability?
Yeah.
I suppose they have plausible deniability that they did not actually know that there were 100 settlers ready to attack, because I don't have a smoking gun that proves it. But they have no plausible deniability that they did not know that there was a settler with a gun waiting there for us.
Right.
In all likelihood, he was the one who then went and signaled to the others that it was time to come. So,
they knew something was potentially going down there.
And then once it starts, there's sirens because cars are being crushed and exploded. There's like tons of shouting. There's a Palestinian fire truck, so there's sirens. Like the IDF is around. They were just there. So. Like, I don't know. It's hard to imagine why. And by the way, I stayed for like an hour after it was done, and they never showed up. Okay. They never came.
Well, I guess that kind of leads us into the moment where we zoom out a little bit, because yesterday when this had happened to you, you know, we were on our page and other shows were trying to get the word out, because basically the U.S. Embassy had declined to protect you. And you are a constituent of Senator Chuck Schumer, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, and I believe Representative Goldman, right? So we were tagging them in all this stuff because the United States government, represented, you know, by Mike Huckabee, a Christian Zionist in Israel as the Israeli ambassador, they were basically declining to help you.
Yeah, I mean, remember, this is a mostly Palestinian American village. These are American citizens, every bit as American as me. So like me being there actually shouldn't change anything for them. Like they should all, and in my text exchanges with the embassy guy, he acknowledges that there's 60,000 Palestinians in the West Bank. So like right off the bat, they
Palestinian Americans?
Yes, Palestinian Americans.
Yeah.
So yes, sorry. Yes. So right off the bat, they've been ignoring terrible violence against Palestinian Americans for years, they admit. And now I'm coming to them as, frankly, like, let's just be real, like a white person who lives full time in America. I'm probably more American to a lot of people in our government. And so basically what happened was, I can't remember exactly how, but like somebody was the video just like immediately started going viral. And my phone started blowing up. And then like somebody from the village had contacted the U.S. Embassy, and somebody from the embassy asked to speak to me. So I get on the phone with someone. He was talking to me not in my capacity as a journalist, but in my capacity as a American tourist there. So unfortunately, I can't use his name, but he tells me on the phone when we speak, bro, this is terrible. Man, I saw the video. That's so fucked up. I mean, he's like really like broing out with me. He's saying all the right things. He's like, these settlers, man, they just this and that, like just like really like putting on an act that he's like, he's like, enough is enough. Like we're going to stop this. And I'm like, okay, great. So like, you're going to come in and provide protection for the people in the village because, they're under attack. And he's like, I got to have a couple internal meetings and then I'll be back in touch. And then the next text exchange is when we text, and
you get one of these for the next hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And what was the text exchange?
Oh, you have it on the screen. I mean, he if you don't have it, it's okay. He basically says, I say, okay. I said to him, people are going back out tomorrow to the fields. I'll be going with them. We need protection.
Here it is.
And he said, you got it. Okay.
He said, unfortunately, we've already told the Israelis that they plan to be out there again tomorrow. I'm friends with the mayor, Lafi, but then you're saying we need protection. We are Americans.
Wait. But this is interesting though, because you read this part about.
Oh, okay.
Then again, we told the Israelis yesterday the villages would be out there today. So in other words, he's saying like, we're doing everything we can, but we have no control over these guys. They're crazy.
Right. Right. And then you say we need American protection. We are Americans. Unfortunately, we simply can't do that. Much as I might personally like to, we haven't got the manpower to protect the nearly 60K American Palestinians, and legally we're not permitted. So
and
there
then
you
you
go.
say, I'm an American tourist. Can you protect me? And then did you get one of those like?
The next part is.
Oh yeah.
No. Put it up because there's something I want to point out.
Here it is. He writes, unfortunately, no, the protection of American citizens is always the responsibility of the host nation government, which is why we pull our embassies out of places that host nations can't or won't protect them. Syria, Iran, Yemen, Venezuela, etc. Etc. is doing a lot of work there.
North Korea.
And then you write back, are you implying that the Israeli government will protect me and the other Americans here? I don't understand. The IDF led us directly into an ambush. That's what's supposed to happen, yes.
But it didn't.
So he has repeatedly in our conversation, like, said, like, well, let's be real. The Israeli government is not fulfilling their duties here. But in the same conversation, he says, if the host country fails to protect Americans, we pull our embassy. So, like, why do we have an embassy in Israel? I mean, I'm not even trying to like make a great point here. Just, I mean, that objectively speaking, they're not protecting Americans here. The Israeli
you just did a story 2 weeks ago about Americans killed in Israel by Israeli forces. And not only will they not pull the embassy out, you can barely get a meeting with lawmakers who represent these people.
Right.
What has struck me throughout this entire thing, and it's also, you see this in the context of the hostages as well. When there is an American Israeli, as opposed to an American Palestinian, like that person becomes an icon if they are killed in Israel. This happens on a regular basis where American citizens are completely, they're either killed, they're imprisoned, they're beat up. Nothing by the media, nothing by the U.S. government. It is such an explicit manifestation of, I don't know if we want to call it racism or or if there's some other dynamic layered on top of the racism, or if the racism allows this other dynamic to happen. I don't know, but it's so clear. There's two different standards.
I think it's a combination of like just pure racism, like Islamophobia, but also anti-Palestinian racism, which is distinct. And also like combine that with just complete deference to Israel, who's responsible for all these killings. And these people just don't exist. I mean, like I said, I'm staying in the home of a 16-year-old an American teenager.
Yeah.
He like we have the guy who runs the prison system in Israel openly bragging about torturing and starving prisoners, including Americans. the flotilla people. And I can't tell you how hard it's been to get any politician to pay attention to this kid who's stuck in prison.
Can we put up this image of him just so people know? Good on Ayanna Pressley who put out this statement about this. I wonder honestly if some of your she's been great on this issue regardless, but Mohammed Ibrahim, a U.S. citizen, is being held in Israeli prison. His health is deteriorating. The circumstances are desperate. The United States must use every avenue available to secure the release of this Palestinian American child. And I just want to put that image up there because that is a child. I mean, looking at him, it's just insane. And we have no idea what is happening to him in these Israeli torture dungeons right now.
He was supposed to spend this past summer working at the family ice cream shop in Tampa Bay. He was going to work there with his first cousin, Saifullah Musalet. Saifullah was beaten to death by settlers a couple kilometers from here in July while Mohammed was in prison. So as far as the family knows, he doesn't know that his cousin was beaten to death. Or the prison guards have been taunting him with it. That also is a thing that happens. But think about that. I mean, this ice cream shop, two of the people that were supposed to be working there, first cousins, one is dead and one of them is left for dead in Israeli military detention. I mean, these are Americans. It is so absurd. And I just want to say, like, listen, right before this, I was visiting Saifullah's grave, actually. And right next to him is a grave of Mohammed Shalabi, who is an 18-year-old who was murdered on the same day as Saifullah. He got, whatever little amount of attention Saifullah got, Mohammed Shalabi got less because he's not an American. And, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but the reason I'm putting such an emphasis on these Palestinian Americans is not because their lives are more important or more valuable, but it is because when the American government refuses to step in to in any way protect their own citizens, get justice for their murder, help rescue them from torture dungeons, it goes to show just, the extent of our just, horrific relationship with Israel.
Yep. All right, let's play this. You posted this about 3 hours ago because it appears that things settled down probably in the wake of how far your reporting traveled, or maybe explicitly so. And let's play this, but I want to talk about the dynamic that must exist for this to be the outcome right now. And I'm curious about that. Okay, let's play this.
It's because your video yesterday, that's why today it doesn't come.
The settlers?
The settlers, yeah.
That's good to know.
All the world saw your video yesterday. That God sent you for us.
Oh, well, all right.
It's good to end on a little bit more of
let's play this one. Let's go to this one. Let's go to this next one down on the thread with the Israeli.
This is the site of the attack yesterday. So I returned to the same olive fields, and the farmers were overjoyed because they were picking their olives in peace.
And then go below that one. Is it that one? No, this one I'm thinking of. I haven't watched it, but you say let's this one speak for itself. Here, this one.
Well, first do the one actually. I think where the third one in the sequence where I literally all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's soldiers over there, and I asked somebody and he says, yeah, there's soldiers and police here doing an investigation. And my immediate thought is well, we all know what
the last one I put up there.
You have the soldier?
No,
but
the one below it, the one below it in the IM.
Yeah. So anyway, they asked me.
Nope, the one below that.
Officer comes over and says.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. That's it.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah. So this guy's filming me right now saying that I'm here making propaganda.
Sorry. It should say, I spotted the soldier who like lured me into an ambush. It's in the thread of the first video that you played. So if you go back to that first one you played, I think it's the third tweet in that thread.
Okay.
All right, we have it.
You told
and
us.
I regret about it because I saw the video.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah, you didn't know?
No.
Okay,
He told us.
He told us.
Huh?
He told us.
Mauro. This is the one who. This is the one who told me, come on up, and then as soon as we got there, sped off, and then the settlers came out.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
I want you coming to my station.
You got it.
I take your phone.
Yes,
and
sir.
Thank you.
So they're here like claiming that they're doing an investigation. I mean, undeniably, they were there in part. They were going around checking on the farmers, making sure they were not getting attacked by settlers. Now, is it coming from a sincere wanting to protect Palestinians' place? I don't think so. I think they're chastened. I think that the coverage yesterday had an effect, and that's certainly what the locals think. I think you should, if you want to do one more, you should do the one where I say just let this one speaks for itself. This one's pretty fun.
You see that one? That's the okay.
So this is again like it's the big oaf is the guy that I had spoken to the day before, and
I mean,
the other
look,
two.
Maybe you can't say this, but it's quite clear to me the guy's lying. I didn't know. I didn't know. We just sped off at that one moment. I mean, give me a break. And he knows he's smart because he's also covering his face.
Yep.
Hey, you know, I almost got killed yesterday when you did that. Yeah, you led me right up into an ambush. I almost
really?
got killed.
Let me
100
adjust
people
my
chased
mask.
me. You know that? You were right there and you left, and I got chased by 100 settlers trying to kill me. I could be dead. I could be dead.
Listen, they want to investigate the assault.
Okay,
They
yeah.
need your help.
Yeah, you're going to be
Can you
investigated
help?
too, though, because you're part of it.
Can you help them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was doing some propaganda.
Propaganda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
of
almost got
course.
killed yesterday.
Yeah,
Is that
but it's
propaganda?
not
You saw
our
the
fault.
video. You saw the video.
If we had don't care, we just don't come here and try to protect you. But we care.
Oh.
And we got
Oh.
the police to investigate.
So has he been
this
arrested
case.
yet? Has he been arrested yet? The guy who
We
did
are
it?
looking for him, and
Okay.
then we will arrest him.
Okay.
Of course.
All right. Good. Good.
Those people are charged to take some DNA and all those things.
Yeah.
But without feeling.
Okay.
It's amazing to
love it.
see how they cover their faces like that. It's very
And then
much.
The last
Yeah.
one is very short, but the last one is very short. But Matt, put up the IDF TikTok one if you don't mind, because then I walk away and I look over and I realize one of the soldiers is just straight up filming me, definitely making a TikTok. Like these are on duty soldiers, and I just catch him like making a video of me.
So this guy's filming me right now saying that I'm here making propaganda. I got chased by 100 settlers yesterday. I almost got killed because these guys set me up. And he's over here saying I'm filming propaganda. Incredible. Incredible.
Like, can we just talk about discipline for a minute? Like, why these guys shouldn't even be talking to me, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. That presupposes that they're not doing exactly what they're, not out there to do. I mean, the way that we got a torture regime in Iraq was not because people were ordered to torture. It was rather, there's no recourse. Don't worry, guys, we're unshackling you. And that has that same feel there. And they just got pressure from some political, from somewhere within the government. Like this is a little bit of a tense time. So you guys got to chill. Talk to me about that dynamic, because it's quite clear that they can't, when the guy's like, if we didn't want to, if we didn't have to be here to protect you, we could just, it's the same sort of like mentality of like, it can't be a genocide because if we wanted to, we could just kill everybody with a nuke. Right. There is international pressure does work to an extent, right? Like that's what this shows. They walk this line of just how much can we get away with seems to be always the type of thing. And that line keeps moving.
Yeah. So then so we have like the oath from the beginning and then the TikTok guy. And then there's a third guy who I don't think we see in these videos, but he's like the one who's got it together. Like he's a good talker and he was like a nice guy, just interpersonally. And he says to me like, look, can we talk human to human? Do you mind not filming? And I was like, okay, but I'm going to be writing about it, obviously. And he's like, well, you're going to try to spin my, anyway, we agreed to speak off the record, or on background. And basically he says, he's being very sincere or, showing sincerity. He's like, you went through something very traumatic yesterday. We're very sorry that it happened. We don't like it either. These settlers cause us a lot of problems. And it made us look very bad, what you said. Like they always accidentally say that. He's like, it made us look very bad that you said we led you into it. And I was like, I know. I noticed that it made you look really bad. I'm sorry. And he's like, why did you say that? And I'm like, well, because you led me. So anyway, then they start actually disputing it. Like they will claim that basically what they're saying, that first they were saying, the first thing was, we didn't know there were settlers there. So then I reminded them that we had a conversation about it. I played them the video and I reminded them that there were 2 settlers waiting there in plain sight. And then they said we had other missions and we couldn't wait around to make sure that like every settler was gone. So we knew about those, but we didn't know about all the others. Like, okay, all right. So that's what you want to say, fine. And then basically I said, okay, so you're saying you didn't know. How do you not know there's 100 people right here? Like, there's not like there were 4 of them. And they're just sticking to, we didn't know, but then coming back to like, they really want me to revise the record to say that maybe they messed up, but they did not, there was no deliberate attempt to lead us into harm's way. And like, I'm not under any illusion that suddenly, like, because this video got a lot of views, settler violence is over, obviously. But it actually reminds me of a scene from No Other Land, the documentary where Tony Blair goes to visit one of the communities in Masfriata and like brings a day of like international attention to this village that's going to be demolished. And then he leaves and they don't demolish it. And the villagers are like, look, did Tony Blair like help us? Yes, he like probably saved this one village for demolition. Does it solve all of our problems? Absolutely not. But it goes to show that like, Israel, as you say, Sam, like they are responsive to diplomatic pressure in some ways, despite how it might look in Gaza. Like that's why they have not killed more people, to answer that question that the genocide deniers say. It's like, because they need to maintain a certain level of standing. And so I think a video goes viral yesterday of an older woman being clubbed unconscious. And like, I mean, and to make matters worse, there's a video of like a zombie apocalypse of settlers chasing an American. And I'm making a lot of noise about it. I think that the message got to them that like, if there's another and I told them like, I'll be here tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. I think the message came through. If tomorrow's another bad day, we might be in some trouble.
Well, I mean, Israel is obsessed with public perception or international perception, right? Like you see the footage even from like the protests in Tel Aviv. The so-called liberal Israelis are basically like they'll show sympathy for Palestinians, but many times the framing is that we don't want the world to have this critique of us. And so when you can turn that vulnerability against them, to your point, via journalism, that's where it puts them in a position where they have to respond to it.
Let me ask you this: what capacity does the idea? I mean, two soldiers, if they had seen those 100 settlers, it would have been a different story, right? I mean, the soldiers have a lot more firepower than those settlers do at that moment, and the settlers can't afford to attack the IDF, not at that moment, A. But B, what capacity, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, what capacity does the IDF have to know where those settlers came from, right? Like, I mean, it's not like there are roving nomadic.
Yes, that's a great point, because actually you just reminded me, I forgot about this. The soldier who I was arguing with, the like smarter one, said to me, we don't know where I was like, have you arrested the guy yet? He's like, no. I'm like, why not? He's like, we don't know where he lives. And I said to him, yes, we do. He lives in one of the farmhouses that's been occupied, or he lives in one of the tents that have been put up. The settlers have a very clear, systematic way of stealing land. What happens is they're in their settlement, and then a couple of them peel off. They put a tent down and a flag, like I said before. They build an outpost. And now, with this government, years later or months later, Smotrich retroactively recognizes it as a settlement. So to be clear, like these settlers who are completely out of control, like rogue, savage, the most violent of the settlers, or some of the most violent, I should say, these are the ones, like, this is why when Yinon Levy, a settler, murdered Auda Hathalin a couple months ago in Al Khair, this is why Smotrich and a bunch of other right-wing Israelis come out and say, this is a Jewish pioneer. These are the people on the frontier of the Jewish state, because these violent settlers are quite literally pushing the boundary. And so this band of savages, they are doing the government's bidding by being out here putting down roots and terrorizing Palestinians and getting them off the land. And right now, it looks really bad for them, but in a couple of years from now, people will forget about the woman who got clubbed in the head. And if the settlers did their job well, then they will have gotten the Palestinians out, and now there'll be a respectable settlement here. And so that's how it happens.
There was a video that you took, and I can't remember from when it was, over the past couple of days. And I don't know where you are pointing to the guy you were with's land, and there's the hardware store and which one is that? Where do you remember which day that was?
You can find it in my Instagram stories, Matt, if you want to look. But I know what you're referring to, and I can explain it. So
because this is a perfect visual example of what you're talking about, how they sort of like creepingly take one sort of like 25 yards at a time, essentially.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to send it to you. It'll take, just give me, do you want me to take a minute?
Is it in your stories right now?
Yeah.
Yes. I have your stories up here.
Hold on. I'm just texting it to you, Matt. Okay. Sorry, revealed, Matt.
But that for me was really made it clear on how this happens, because it's hard to conceive of what's going on there, I think, for Americans who have a different perception of this stuff.
I texted to Sam and said, because Matt, you don't have an iPhone and I don't have good service here, but yeah. So while you're hopefully getting it, I'll explain what it is. So we're looking out. Actually, I'm in Termisai, so the town that we've been talking about, and we're looking out at the Shiloh settlement on one side, and the other settlement, Adead, and then all this agricultural land in between Termisaya and the two settlements. And this is the land that has been basically taken by the settlers. Did you get it, Matt or Sam?
It hasn't come through yet.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
it's okay. But your explanation, I think, will cover it.
Yeah.
Matt, if you look at my Instagram stories, it would be in the Ramallah district stories. But anyway, let me just explain what it is. It's okay. So basically, there's a bunch of like shells of buildings, but like really nice looking buildings. Because again, it's like a wealthy area. And the guy who I'm with, who's Yasser, the farmer that I've been with, is pointing at each of these buildings and explaining to me what it was supposed to be. So this one over here was somebody building a house for his family. And before they could finish it, the settlers started coming and threatening them. And now the settlers are literally using it as a base. This one over here is a local hardware store owner was ready to open up a second location. He wanted to do it in the olive fields, which is obviously a place where somebody might need to go to get farm tools. And before he gets to finish it, the settlers take it over. So like point by point, they are just taking each of these things that the Palestinians have actually built. Did you get it?
I got it. I've sent it to you.
Oh my God.
By the time
this is
Don't hold that up because if there's a number on there.
Yeah.
No, there's no phone numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, and perfect.
Yes, this is perfect.
This is how it all starts. It starts with a tent, then it becomes a container, then the container becomes multiple containers. They put up the flag, Israeli flag, and all of a sudden it becomes theirs. That building over there.
Oh no, keep it to.
All right. Yeah.
That building, it used to be for a home supply store, building supplies. Under construction, another company, which is in the middle of the town, wanted to construct another location here, further away from the center of the town, and war erupted, and they could not continue, and all of a sudden it now has the Israeli flag.
So the frame for that building was a hardware store being built by somebody in the town.
Somebody in the town, yeah.
And now there's just that is really.
These two buildings, this building right here, this building, the closest to us, the owner cannot finish it because every time he does any plumbing, they come in and they steal the pipes or they steal the hoses. That building, it's residential apartments. The owner cannot finish it. The settlers are constantly inside attacking it, breaking things inside it. So.
And one other thing that I did not capture in that video is they stole all of the grape vines or the grape plants, and this pissed me off so much. They opened up a winery. So there is now a brand of wine that ships to the US, by the way.
What's it called?
It's called Shiloh Winery, and it has great reviews on Google, which also pissed me off. Like the winery itself, which of course is, open to non-Palestinians only. So they are now making wine off of stolen Palestinian grapes and selling it and profiting off it, obviously. Meanwhile, Palestinians are not even allowed to dig for water. So it's just, and this view actually, though, Sam brings up one other point I want to make about the town, which is that, like, this town is unusual because, like I keep saying, they have money. And these people, for the most part, maybe with some exceptions, they don't rely on olives as like their primary income. So their livelihood does not depend on being able to get to the olive groves like it does in so many other places that I've been. However, when you ask the farmers, like, why do you keep going out, risking your life over it? It is a pride thing in part. I mean, I think a lot of people know that like the olive tree has a lot of symbolic value to Palestinians too. It takes a very long time to grow, but there's also a very practical thing, which is that the settlers, like in that view you were showing, Sam, they started at the two settlements. They took a little bit of land. They took a little more land. They started occupying these buildings. They took a little more. They're almost at the village. And the people in the town feel that if they don't go out into the fields and put up some level of resistance, even if it means just being there, then it's a matter of time before the settlers overtake the village. And when I tell you there are beautiful homes in this place, I mean, I have no doubt that the settlers are, their mouths are watering over the opportunity to kick people out of these homes. So it really is like an existential threat to what is like a pretty wealthy, largely American community. And like, we're literally talking about the people that you see in that attack video that we showed earlier. So like, that's what they're up against. And that's who America is just completely refusing to defend them against. And that's why I think this place in particular is so interesting. Like, if these people are now as vulnerable as they are, just imagine the shepherding communities, the Bedouin communities. I mean, they are utterly defenseless. And I mean, it really is just like a sign of just how grave things are, that the most privileged parts of the West Bank are now experiencing the same type of ongoing, regular, deadly violence, land theft, and the U.S. government and the Israeli government are deeply complicit in it. And the only hope, if just to go by what the Palestinians say, at least, or the ones that I know, is to keep telling their story. And I know that's like cliche, and it's like, well, did it get us anywhere with Gaza? I mean, it kind of did, because like, if there was not the enormous wave of public opinion shifting, like, the genocide probably never would have ended. And the thing is, like, you're not seeing that with the West Bank at all. Like, there's very, very little noise about the West Bank. So while there's this ceasefire in Gaza that we're all supposed to be celebrating, which, by the way, I'm like behind on news. I hear Israel's back to bombing Palestine there. But even so, like, in the like 2 days of quiet, such as it existed, the West Bank was as bad as it's ever been in terms of Israeli violence, and no noise about it whatsoever from the mainstream media, from political figures. And they are going to get run right off this land if that doesn't change. And so, yeah.
Well, Jasper, Nathaniel, folks can see your reporting and support your reporting at Infinite Jazz on Substack. We're going to put a link to that. Folks should also follow you either on Instagram or Twitter, because the amplification of what you're sending out clearly, at the very least, is helpful in that narrow context. Hopefully some will spill over, but can't tell you how much I appreciate your coming on and the work you're doing. Really important stuff, and obviously dangerous. Stay safe. Good luck with this, and keep us updated.
All right, Sam, Emma, thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, folks, we've got to take a break. Yeah, buckets and buckets. Isn't the ceasefire over? It certainly seems like it. Apparently, an Israeli bulldozer went over an unexploded ordnance, and they decided to blame that on Hamas. And Trump has also conceded that Israeli-backed gangs in Gaza were firing at Israel to stir things up, but that, the bottom line is Israel just continues to bomb innocent civilians.
Can you at least give me a month so I can post for the Nobel Prize, please?
But it's also fascinating that you would presume, I mean, we all assume, like, oh, okay, he's whatever, however many miles away, an hour's drive from the Gaza Strip. But the way the news works within the context of Israel is, I don't think they don't cover such things in any way that the Israeli public would have information, and certainly not in just the West Bank. Again, we'll put that link up to Jasper's Substack. Support him. Frankly, I think he should have a system of backup cameras. But all right, we're going to take a break, head into the fun half. Don't forget justcoffee.coop. Today, in lieu of membership call, go support Jasper's work on Substack. That would be helpful. Matt, Left Reckoning.
Left Reckoning. We had a Sunday show for members yesterday. Patreon.com/Left Reckoning. We got into some stuff with Zoran and him and this final stretch of the campaign, and also talked about Graham Plattner, who is good and is going to be the next senator for Maine.
All right, quick break. Fun half.
3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now. And I don't think it's going to be the same as it looks like in 6 months from now. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be better 6 months from now than it is 3 months from now. But I think around 18 months out, we're going to look back and go like, wow. What? What is that going on? It's nuts. Wait a second. Hold on for a second. Emma, welcome to the program.
Hey.
Matt.
What is up, everyone?
Nomi Key.
You did it. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Bradley, you want to say hello?
Sorry to disappoint everyone. I'm just a random guy.
It's all the boys today.
Fundamentally false.
No, I'm sorry. Women's
Stop talking for a second and let me finish.
Where is this coming from, dude?
But dude, you want to smoke this 7A?
Yes.
Hi, me? This me?
Yes.
Is this me?
Is it me?
It is you.
Is this me? Hello, is this me?
I think it is you. Who is you? No sound.
Every single freaking day. What's on your mind?
Sports. We can discuss free markets and we can discuss capitalism.
I'm gonna go throw up.
Libertarians.
They're so stupid, though.
Common sense says, of course.
gobbledygook.
We fucking nailed him.
So what's 79 plus 21?
Challenge Matt.
I'm positively quivering.
I believe 96, I want to say.
857-210-3501. 1/2. 3/8.
9/11, for instance.
$3,400, $1,900.
654 $3 trillion sold. It's a zero-sum game.
Actually, you're making me think less of it.
But let me say this.
You can call it satire. Sam goes with satire.
On top of it all,
Yeah.
my favorite part about you is just like every day, all day, like everything you do.
Without a doubt. Hey, buddy, we see you. All right, folks.
It's just the week being weeded out, obviously.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out. I don't know.
But you should know.
People just don't like to entertain ideas anymore.
I have a question. Who cares?
Our chat is enabled, folks.
I love it.
I do love that.
Look, gotta jump. Gotta be quick. I gotta jump.
I'm losing it, bro.
2 o'clock. We're already late, and the guy's being a dick. So screw him. Sent to a gulag?
Outrageous.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
And back.
We are back. Sam Seder, Emma Vigeland. Fun half. I've got to go in about 27 episodes.
Minutes.
27 minutes.
Have an episode.
I will be in Vegas later this week with the stopover for my Tort conference stuff. But let's before we get there,
We will win.
I'm going to a special meeting of the Democratic Senate campaign committee. They're asking me my advice on stuff. They've been busy. And look, listen, I think it's perfectly legitimate for campaigns to do oppo research on each other. That's a part of politicking. In this instance, of course, it is establishment money, fundraising that's going to the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee. Always a good idea to donate directly to the candidate you want to support, because when Christian Gillibrand, knee deep in crypto money, is in charge of distributing this money, and Chuck Schumer, knee deep in tech bro money, is in
And
charge,
APAC money.
and
all,
APAC money,
both of them.
is in charge of distributing it. For all you know, they may go support someone who's going to be 79 years old before they start their Senate term. I know that sounds crazy, but it actually could happen.
That was Biden's age, wasn't it? Didn't he say something quite similar?
I'm
One term.
staying in a race, young lady. Okay, so the Gillibrand's outfit, because I don't even know if Janet Mills, has she been able to raise any money yet? I mean, she's just been out there, and I've seen a couple ads. I actually saw her first campaign ad on Twitter. She was asking for donations. By the second one, they had turned off the comments.
Yeah.
It's
a little rough.
It's a little rough. But so they dug up when Plattner got back from, I don't know, his second tour in.
And it was over like from like 2013 or something like that, from the first messages to like as recently as 2021, etc.
He was on Reddit, and he was crap posting, as they say. They don't say that. I don't like to use that word. And they were crap posting, and he said stuff that was off color, inappropriate. I don't know if that I would call any of this stuff racist. I don't think so. They're trying to make it seem like that. But it certainly was like, inappropriate.
And that the worst they have is they're claiming that he downplayed sexual assault in the military, but you also have all these other posts where, and I was saying this on MSNBC last night and was getting some pushback, where he was speaking about misogyny in a way that I think is like very thoughtful.
Yeah, I think if you take the sum total of the things, there's a lot that actually makes him look very good.
Now, I will
including
tell
being
you,
a fan of Michael Brooks.
And there's other things that he won't defend, and wants to move on from, and things like don't reflect him and like are part of his journey. So like,
I will tell you, as someone who got in trouble for one of his tweets, that was like obviously purposefully misconstrued, in my opinion, and ultimately, that it's very easy to whip up a fervor off of stuff that is even remotely risque, as it were.
And the right is obsessed with crap posting. Like their whole, of course, the Republican group chat, Telegram chat that was leaked, that was talking about not even the same thing. But there are people that are trying to draw this equivalence. And the content is incredibly different, like diametrically different.
As in like vaguely offensive at worst.
At worst, but the difference too is they will deny, and then secretly in their group chats act the exact same way. Plattner did something that should be lauded. He admitted it and he apologized. And like for everybody out there that is still squeamish about this, do you have a squeaky clean internet record? Like, we're going to have to deal with this in the modern age when candidates like this continue to run. And it's not just going to be somebody who may be like a social democrat and shares our viewpoints. It's going to be across the board. There's going to be digital trails that people are going to have to contend with. And I hope that this is like the first domino to fall in incentivizing apologies and thoughtfulness about this, and also dealing with this in the internet age.
This is where we grow up.
Yeah, and here's the thing too: is like people can judge and assess for themselves the how horrible or not these postings on Reddit are from a guy who's obviously like suffering PTSD and coming out of that environment. But in this environment and in this day, this is an incredible, in my estimation, moment of accountability and explanation from Graham Plattner. This is what he posted the other day.
Graham here. As you've probably seen, there's a story that's broken about comments I made on Reddit in an earlier part of my life. As I read through them, I read things that I absolutely do not agree with. I read through and I see things that, words and statements that I abhor. I also see the trajectory of my life. When I got back from Afghanistan in 2011, I stayed in the Army for another year. I got out in 2012. Some of the worst comments I made, the things that I think are least defensible, that I wouldn't even try to defend, come from that time. I had spent the bulk of my 20s in the infantry, deploying overseas, fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. The infantry was a very male-dominated place. It's a very masculine world. When I was in, women weren't allowed in the infantry. It's changed now, and that's a good thing. But when I got out, I still had the crude humor, the dark feelings, the offensive language that really was a hallmark of the infantry when I was in it. I made comments that I'm not happy about, that I do not agree with, but they came from a time and place in my life. And as I watch, or as I read through the comments that were released, I can see myself changing. My language gets less crude, my thoughts and my feelings get a lot less kind of rough around the edges. I do get almost more disillusioned though, and it's important to know that this was a time in my life where I was struggling deeply. I got out of the Army in 2012. I had PTSD, I had depression. I had all of the things that come with serving in a war, in 2 wars, that I eventually began to not believe in at all. It left me feeling very unmoored. It left me feeling very disillusioned, very alienated, and very isolated. And I think like a lot of people, I went on the internet to post stupid things and get in fights and find some form of community in some way, some outlet for my feelings, for my rage, for my isolation. It wasn't until I found actual community that all went away. And the reason that I stopped posting on Reddit around 2020 and 2021 is because that was the point in my life where I had found this. I had moved back to my hometown. I'd found community. I'd started a business. I'd met someone to fall in love with. I'd been able to really begin to feel connected again. And not only did it let me feel connected, it also gave me a lot of hope. I had spent years being entirely isolated and feeling very, very angry about the system that had made me go through that experience. Coming back to Maine, moving back to my hometown, reconnecting with the community that I'm from, building real friendships, building real networks, real relationships with people, that helped cut my disillusion. I went from thinking that people were bad to knowing that people are good. I went from thinking that there was no hope to having nothing but hope. A hope that is rooted in the fact that it was in my community here in Sullivan, Maine, that I got to come home and build a nice life. That all changed for me, but it took me a long time to get there, and it was a very long journey. And along that journey, I was in different places that I'm not in now. I had different feelings that I don't have now. I had different thoughts and opinions that I certainly don't have now. But I am very proud of the person I am today. And it was that whole journey that got me here. And while I won't defend things I said in the past, I will just say that if it wasn't for that entire journey, I would not be who I am today, and I'm incredibly proud of who I am today. And so for those of you who have read these things and been offended, have read these things and seen someone that you don't recognize, I am deeply sorry. It's something that I see someone that I don't recognize either, not in who I am today. It is somebody that I do recognize though, somebody who is struggling, somebody who is having a very difficult time settling into a society that he felt betrayed by and left behind by after having to go fight in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm sorry for this. Just know that it's not reflective at all of who I am. I don't want you to judge me on the dumbest thing I ever wrote on the internet. I would prefer if people could judge me on the person I am today. And I just want to say thank you all very much for your time.
I mean, not only I think should people assess this as whether it's, you know, taking accountability and addressing the stuff that he wrote and the state of mind he was in. Every single article that I have read about radicalization online, every single article we have read about the manosphere and Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan and all of those things, the dissolution of small towns, the alienation of blue collar workers, the disparity in the change in life expectancy for white men, for men, period. I mean, all of this whole genre that has dominated our media for years and our political class. Like, sit down, pull that video apart and understand what the dynamic is there, and understand like what deals with those issues.
Exactly. And the Democrats are obsessed with the idea that we lost ground with young men. Like, are we really going to be so like the liberal censoriousness of the impulse to be so censorious, or to be like, it's the worst of the cancellation piece here, whereas like he should be able to show that he's changed and grown, because that could be the message to the young men that the Democrats are trying to win over
And
as
also,
well. There's an opportunity for you to be redeemed, even if you did say some of these things and got into some of these cycles and communities.
There's also the problem, like this is manners. This is the manners of a guy who was in the forces and came back, versus like the actual policies, which is, you know, they're talking about Janet Mills and a pardon she gave somebody over a sexual abuse thing. But also, like, I'm seeing a lot of people who are anti-Graham that defended Cuomo.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. We'll get there in a moment, because that point is made. But I just want to stay on what Emma was saying, because I mean, this is something you could show your kids at age 15 or 14 or 13 and just say, like, you know, be careful, because you're going to go through moments where things are going to be bleak. And the answer is not to go down this path. Now, you know, people have got to go through things. But one of the things, too, that was in his Reddit was his talking about Michael's death. And I had seen a clip of his earlier. I don't know if we ever played it, where somebody was talking about, you know, let the red states deal with the fact that they're going to roll back their health care, and he says, no, you know, that is not something we should be actively hoping for. We've got to be here for everybody. That to me just really sounded like, you know, he had, that Michael had really informed his thinking.
100%. It was when the lady asked about the illegals, I think is the clip you're talking about. And the entire crowd of people that came out to see him were shouting her down. And he said, no, don't get mad at her. We're all propagandized.
Right.
And don't blame people for being propagandized. If someone got their house robbed, you don't go over and yell at them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, 100%.
That was very Michael. But
Susan Collins voted to fucking invade Iraq. Why is that not this scandal?
Yeah.
Right.
Frying his brain.
Well, this is, look, this is,
it's manners versus policy.
what's
That's a liberal thing.
what's also really interesting is what's going on here is, Maine is,
The way life should be.
It is, I mean, politically speaking, Maine is probably the reddest, certainly probably the most rural of states in New England.
Definitely.
And, you know, I remember, you know, it was 30 years ago, I spent a summer up there, and you go in 6 to 8 miles from the coast. I mean, Brian, you know this. Like, I'm talking to guys who, they're a mechanic, and the way that they get under the cars is the pit that they dug underneath in the garage. There's no elevation. It is, I go down into the pit and the car drives over me. I mean, so like, it's a pretty rural state. And of course, any political campaign is going to dig up anything like this. But if you want to talk about getting into states like Pennsylvania, where it's supposedly, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and Alabama in the middle, Maine is like Portland, and then like Alabama, anything 10 miles in from the coast is like, and
that's why these elite liberals keep losing in Maine. Like, they keep getting put up.
They're putting in a recipe that I think, like, this is not going to have. Yep. I mean, Plattner's going to have to, like, and go in and prove himself to some voters in there, and it's going to impact some. But I don't think this is going to have the resonance it would have if this guy was running for Senate in, let's say, Massachusetts or in New York or in Connecticut. And then there's also this, the irony of Chuck Schumer's organization in the Senate.
Yep.
The Democratic Senate Campaign Committee, chaired by Kristen Gillibrand. And if you don't think it's Janet Mills's Oppo research funded by this organization, this must be your first day in American politics. Like I say, perfectly legitimate. This is the way the politics are done. But the delicious irony that Chuck Schumer may never endorse Zohran Mamdani in the New York mayoral race, and is supportive, at least in his silence, of Andrew Cuomo, he should bathe in that. Same with Gillibrand, who's doing the same thing as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Who is this?
This is Cameron Kasky. So he was one of the kids that survived the Parkland massacre, and so he and David Hogg are two of like the kids that have kind of turned that activism into work like this.
Now adults.
Sorry, yeah.
He nails this right on one of the MSNBC shows.
Is there room for someone like that in the Democratic Party, Cameron, even if he does apologize and say that that is no longer representative of how he feels and what he stands for?
Well, I was born in 2000, which means that the candidates from my generation are all going to have history of comments that they made online.
There you go.
And this is a pivotal moment for the party to say, okay, to what standard are we going to be holding people? Does it matter when somebody comes out and holds themselves accountable, recognizes their wrongdoing, and says they're going to do better? Or is there going to be a purity test in every single election? I think that we ought to accept and support people taking accountability and saying that they've done something wrong. But it's worth noting that members of the Democratic establishment who are currently going after Plattner for his comments also supported Andrew Cuomo for mayor of New York City with a dozen credible sexual harassment allegations. So respectfully, I would take the candidate who said something wrong and apologized for it over the candidate who did a dozen completely disgusting things and refuses to acknowledge that he even did in the first place and attacks the people who accused him.
I mean, you did the church well, so.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even begin to argue with that? How do you even begin to argue with that? All you have to do at that point is just walk away, because there is absolutely zero ability to attack Plattner on these comments he made anywhere from 13 years ago to 6 or 7 years ago, and support Andrew Cuomo, or not come out aggressively for the person who represents the Democratic Party and is going to beat Andrew Cuomo. I'm sorry. Like, there's just absolutely zero way that you can do that. All you have to do is you have to run away from that situation.
This is that thing you were talking about earlier, where the lady asks about the illegals, and I just want to play this 1 second just to drive the point home.
So what's your plan for the illegals that are in this
states that get free benefits.
They don't. They don't. They don't. They don't.
If you listen to what she was saying.
Now, I thought like the most harmful thing that came out from this was the thing, and I think the Democrats thought was going to hurt him the most was calling people, rural white people in Maine, stupid and prone to bigotry. But you hear that. That is in Caribou, Maine, a city of 9,000 people, 98% white. And you hear their reaction to a woman among them talking about illegals. The idea that everybody in these areas is just some foaming at the mouth ICE supporter is wrong. There is a huge fraction of the pie that are liberals or Democrat voters that are as fed up with Plattner as Plattner was when he said that on Reddit, that Trump thinks they're all rural and stupid. Well, unfortunately they are. Well, rural Maine did vote for Trump. The coastal parts didn't, but rural Maine didn't. But there's a lot of people in all those areas that are as frustrated by people being misled by hatred and bigotry as Plattner is, and he's going to represent them in the Senate.
You going to play the rest?
If you listen to what she was saying, they've been taken advantage of. And that's what this is. People are being robbed. They're being robbed of their critical thinking. They're being robbed of their empathy.
Yeah, that's a shortened version, but really good.
Yeah, that's worth digging up. That full video is worth looking at. All right, we're gonna have to. Yeah, I gotta go, which just drives me crazy because I really want to get this. But you know what? Save number 22 for me on Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay, sounds good.
Because we'll get to it.
Yeah.
That video just drove me crazy. Because I was like, I didn't really like dig into Mallory McMorrow, and she seemed like not offensive, but this video I find to be like screaming red flag type of situation.
We'll save it.
We'll save it. You got 1 minute till 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And nope, it just ticked.
I'm laughing
now it's 2 p.m.
Really wants to do
I gotta
right
breathe. I gotta breathe.
This is how I felt during the Grand Plattner. I was biting, my tongue was bleeding because I'm so pissed about what they're doing to him right now.
I
how
know.
allergic to working class people the Democratic Party is, and it makes me sick.
Did you know about his manners?
Meanwhile,
We
Pete
want him
Hegseth-
representing the Democrats with his comportment.
You go two trajectories. Pete Hegseth is getting rewarded for never learning anything and never apologizing and being a rapist, coming out of the military in the war, or you go Graham Plattner's way, who also went to the same wars, went through the routine, and then did the work to get through it and become a better person. It's sickening.
Yeah, it's gross.
I'll read some IMs while you stew and.
Sam's gonna have to do this into his voice notes.
Well, can you play this, and I will get a text from you with the voice note, and I will play it on the microphone.
Hold it up to the mic.
Honestly, I've been stewing about it since the moment I saw it. Like I couldn't even sleep. All right, I gotta go. I'll see you in a couple days.
All right, bye. Safe flight. Solo Emma commence. There we go. There we go. Although Sam's still here.
We won't rest.
We
won't rest.
Dim Pyra says, Sam, I don't want to pry, but could this neck pain be a result of your generosity? All right, actually, I'm not reading that. Generosity as a lover. I thought. God. I thought it would be. It would have been funnier if he read that one. I should probably
Emma
scan
never
them.
reads ahead.
I never read ahead. It's a huge issue. MJS617, do the video, Sam, unless you're in danger of stranding your children somewhere. No, he's in danger of missing his flight. Todd from Raleigh, Pink Floyd's The Wall album had a hypothesis that the more isolated you become, the more bigoted and fascistic you become. When I was a kid, I thought that was far-fetched, but today I see it's undeniable. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. It's called America.
I mean, and
Suburbia.
I do think that was in part of like the antisocial psychosis that came out of the pandemic. And we ripped away the social safety net that was there and cut child poverty in half and plunged folks back into the situation they were in previously. I mean, when you look at the charts about child poverty, it's not hard to see why the Democrats lost, because they achieved a level of like a social safety net, gave it to people, and then yanked it back in a disciplinary action. And that's, you know, there's a lot of blame to go around. Fetterman and, I'm not sorry, Fetterman, Manchin and Sinema are the primary culprits, but it was also Biden bringing Republicans into the negotiation process and not,
instead of leaning on those Democrats.
right. Like, look at how Trump got this big ugly bill through. He didn't, all the questions about the parliamentarian, whatever, just ram it through. The Biden administration should have done that with Build Back Better, because at the outset, Sam has made this point before as he leaves right now, at the outset, Manchin was very supportive and was saying we should go bigger, remember?
And I would look up, probably the widest spread studies on this stuff is after the fall of the Soviet Union, what privatization, the effect that had on societies in Eastern Europe that were formerly in the USSR. And you can do the research for yourself to determine whether market reforms and attacking the social safety net helped loneliness or made it more epidemic.
Mm-hmm. What should we do here? I want to do Sliwa, just because, which number is this, by the way? Elections, here it is. Okay, 15. Curtis Sliwa is the breakout star of the final weeks of the New York City mayoral race. Now, look, Sliwa, you can find him when he's not running for mayor on Sean Hannity's program, pushing tough on crime BS. This is not somebody who we should say we shouldn't launder his politics beyond finding amusement out of him. And he really is just one of the most New York characters I can think of, though. When he's representative of New York Republicans. This is what a Staten Island Republican is like, actually. And they don't like Cuomo either. That's the other thing is that the Cuomo campaign is so lazy, so funded by billionaires and top-down politics, the exact kind of politics we need to get away from in the Democratic Party. And he's an independent, so there you go. But that they assume that because of his name, that Sliwa voters are going to come over to him. It's like, no, you're not a Republican. They're Republicans, bro. And also, you spent your entire tenure as mayor bullying everybody in New York. And the only reason he was able to keep it together was because he would retaliate against people and he would keep them in line as a bully. But that illusion, when you're not in power, I mean, it fades quickly. So Sliwa went at him during the debate. And I believe Zoran Mamdani had said a few weeks ago, I trust him more than Cuomo, and I would agree. He's asked here by Nate Friedman on his show.
Possible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. By Nate Friedman on his show, if he's helping Zoran Mamdani win by staying in the race, and loved this answer.
However, I think it is clear to New Yorkers who are against Mamdani that you and Cuomo are splitting the anti-Mamdani vote. So my question is simple. Are you okay if Mamdani wins that you, so to speak, contributed to that?
Well, number one, Ackman is a jerk. Has he been right yet? Here's a guy who goes up to Newport, Rhode Island and thinks he's a professional tennis player. Come on, Ackman. Stay in your lane. Does he know anything about politics? No. Does he live in New York City? No. He lives in Chapaka, the whitest suburb of America, where even the lawn jockeys are white. He may know Wall Street. He may know hedge funds.
What?
He has been wrong every step of the way with the billionaires. So let's say people.
No, it's just racism.
I'm not from an area that does lawn jockeys. I guess they're like the little racist things rich people put on their lawns in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Like black caricature.
I don't really understand what that's about. But
it's a little bit questionable, but this is who we're dealing with here.
At least we're dealing with a Republican who thinks living in an all-white neighborhood is goofy.
Yeah, or he's just also but he's trying to admit, he's trying to say Cuomo's not even a New York City resident.
You don't even go here.
He's doing a long-term boarding situation at his daughter's nearly $8,000 a month apartment. Or 7,000.
Let's say people come to the conclusion, if somehow I lose, and we know Andrew Cuomo's lost, he's already tossed into town. Oh, it's because of you, Curtis. Really? It's because of the Democrats. Wait a second. Who created Zoran Mamdani? Who embraced him? Who nourished him? Who supported him? And how dare you, people who know nothing about politics, suggest that everybody who's going to vote for me is suddenly going to be reborn. We love Andrew Cuomo. He killed all these elderly. He's a sexual harasser. He told conservatives and Republicans in 2014, if you're conservative and you believe in right to life and the Second Amendment, you have no place in New York. You need to leave. This is the result of the Democrat self-destruction.
All right, so let's pause it here. So I'm supposed to help them. But he defines it as self-destruction, but I would say that the Democrats, the voters, did make their decision clear. Like, for all of this talk about how Zohran Mamdani is not a true Democrat, the independent on the ballot, Andrew Cuomo, is the true Democrat. It's actually a kind of an important conversation about how the party treats democracy. Zohran Mamdani won by 12 points. Democratic voters, it's not open primary system in New York. You have to be a registered Democrat to vote in the primary. And the registered Democrats overwhelmingly decided, no, this guy, the Democratic Socialist, is more representative of what I want to see in government than the so-called Democrat. Who's more of a Democrat? That guy, the popular will, the people who decided, that he's representative of my interests? What makes somebody a Democrat? It's when the Democratic voters say this guy represents me, not just, I don't know, some sort of affiliation or whatever. Not what the party elites decide. And that is the distinction. Party elites think Democrat means one thing, and the voters are saying, actually, and increasingly so, no, we wanted to say another thing. And the fact that they don't listen to that is indicative of the larger problem here.
It should be pointed out to folks, because this entire conversation is premised on stupidity by the Cuomo supporters, that even if Sliwa dropped out and somehow got every one of the people who was going to vote for him to vote for the former Democrat Andrew Cuomo, Zohran would still win. So why are we even talking about this? It's because they're grasping at straws and losing. And the type of race panic I've seen from Zionists over, they were in denial about it before, I think, the last debate. And now they're in the anger stage of, look at who he's posing with pictures with. Let's get really freaked out about terror supporters and smear people, frankly, about the Holy Land 5 and stuff. But also, one thing to point out about Sliwa is he is sort of against the billionaires right now, right? But that's just a function of he never had a chance.
Yeah.
The billionaires get behind people that they think could win. And Sliwa has never had a chance here. So he's
anti-billionaires because they're not funding his campaign.
And there's no chance they would.
They wouldn't, exactly. But that's what allows him to be an actually authentic representation of a New York Republican. That's what's so funny about watching him is this. If there was a donor-picked Republican, he probably would do worse.
Yep, exactly. Yes, and he would drop out, and then all the people who got some sort of felt represented by him would feel completely left out in the cold. Whereas Sliwa is cultivating his own little political base. I mean, it's pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah. But
other than for something for people to get mad at when they want to run some sort of psychocentrist.
I have a friend who says there's no such thing as fuck you money. There's only fuck you poverty. And that's what Sliwa has.
Yeah. I mean, Gabriel Sherman, I think it was, had a book on what's the old big guy that used to run Fox News? Ailes. And Ailes was going to go after a blogger during the Bush administration. He's like, we're going to sue him into oblivion. And the guy's like, I just have a blog.
Yeah, good luck.
Sue my blog.
What, you're coming after my debt?
I make $75 a month.
Miss Buggles said, saw a funny TikTok of a girl who went to a Sliwa event where he spoke about his feral cat rat plan. When asked who would maintain the feral cat houses, he apparently said single women between 40 and 60 will be great at this. I mean, look in the mirror, bro. Aren't you the guy that has 10 cats in your studio? That's a little bit of lacking, Curtis Sliwa lacking in self-awareness.
It's the very thin glass house.
Yes. Noel from San Francisco, that's a terrible Cuomo impression, but a great Yogi Bear. Sliwa's. Yeah, Cuomo always sounds like he's holding in a burp. Has anybody noticed that? Harry Emden says Comrade Curtis Lewa. There you go. Not really though. Nancy
I'll be
Bass.
honest. It's just relative to Cuomo. Slee was kind of fun. Like once this is over, I'm done.
Oh yeah.
Let's not forget he like lies about like crime.
Exactly.
And, like
Fuck that
framed
guy.
like black people.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. Slee was a nasty loser.
Yeah.
He's a useful idiot right now.
Exactly. Got real estate. Democrats have weak compromise policies with no backbone. All you need is a few elected officials to take the bribe, and that's it. End of the political effort. It's money and all about the real estates. Yes. Nancy Bass. I love this guy, although I don't. All right, let's do something else here. What is good? What's good? I want to cover this. Shoot. I'm trying to. What did you recommend, Matt? Sorry. Oh yeah, let's do that. Oh, I thought you meant Josh Shapiro.
Oh, we can do Josh.
Let's do Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro went on the Breakfast Club. He is auditioning for president. You
think he has higher ambitions?
No.
You can tell that just the way he talks?
Well, I mean, is he still doing the Obama impression, or was he sufficiently bullied on that?
I would say he's still doing the Obama impression.
Because I haven't heard this video yet, but I did see that what the headline, which was that Josh Shapiro apparently called the questions that Charlemagne the God had about AIPAC money lazy. Let's see how he...
Better than interesting.
Yeah. Right. This is
He's actually uninterested.
Israel compromised Mad Libs. What adjective are you going to throw at the interviewer to get out of answering the question about Israel's influence on your politics and in your political career? Because it's happening so rapidly, and these guys are already behind the ball. But
yes, they're outside the safe zone.
Right. And what's very Seth Moulton was on MSNBC last night, and he's returning his AIPAC donations and not accepting any money from AIPAC in his challenge to the right of Ed Markey, who I do think should probably step aside for a more younger progressive in that race. But still, if it's Markey versus Moulton, we know who we're supporting in this situation. Moulton is running as a I'm not old candidate. And he was asked by the MSNBC crew, like, well, what policy difference do you have from Ed Markey? And he was like, I wouldn't support Schumer for speaker. And it's like, I mean, if it were put to a vote, would Markey support that? Like, the point is just that these guys are trying to repackage these moderate centrist Democrats who have taken pro-Israel money, who have voted to fund the genocide. They are looking for new angles to get out of this. And my hope is that they can't. And exchanges like this give me hope as well.
The article in the New York Times about Democrats pulling away from AIPAC. So clearly it's having some impact on them politically if they feel like they got to.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's become a political issue. You've used it as a political issue. You've questioned federal representatives when they're on here on that. I mean, I think if I can say this to you, not trying to offend you here, but I think it's a little bit of a shortcut and a little bit of a lazy question. I think the better question is, how do you really feel about Israel? How do you feel about a two-state solution? How do you feel about the war? How do you feel about...
All bullshit. It's not a war. Two-state solution is a fiction. What was the first thing he said? How I feel about Israel? Oh, I feel like I think ethno-supremacist states shouldn't exist. All right. There's three answers to your questions there.
And why doesn't he answer those right now?
Exactly.
Well, he likes to let people can have the discussion, let alone like not standing up for people who protested the genocide over the past couple of years. Like, but now he's going to tell you how open he is to different varieties of conversation.
Charlemagne is making it a political issue. I love that he shows that he was anticipating this question. I mean, immediate defensiveness.
This is it.
To say as if this is coming out of Charlemagne, bro, the base, the people you want to win over in a primary, a national primary, over 70% of Democrats think Israel's committing genocide. Over 70%. Across polls, Quinnipiac, YouGov. It should be higher. 8% of Democrats support Israel in their war effort, to even use his terms, from a Gallup poll that came out a few months ago. How do you think they feel now? So this is not an issue that Charlemagne or podcasters are kicking up, as, you know, Cory Booker was attacking the podcast space for daring to ask questions about, or for not talking about Africa enough. That was the way he got out of that.
I'm trying to stop all the pain in the entire world, and why don't you care about Africa?
Yeah, right. Like, no, this is the impulse by these elite Democrats to say that this is a manufactured issue, or that, like, you know, these podcasts are doing for clicks. Like, they're digging their own grave, because it's actually the opposite, and the listeners are going to have the same reaction.
Well, why would there be clicks?
Exactly.
Their producers are doing SEO. That's why they're talking about this stuff.
Right.
Feel about the war? How do you feel about, you know, the hostages or hungry kids or what have you?
I mean, we can answer all those questions. How do we feel about the hostages? There should have been a ceasefire and a hostage exchange, including the thousands of people held in Israeli torture prisons, the thousands of Palestinians, including many, many children. They should have been exchanged instead of any of this bombing happened that Shapiro supported.
I think demanding answers on those questions is more important than, hey.
It's interesting. Like, who's doing the demanding? Answers, like what you're demanding answers of us. You are the one that needs to have the answers right now.
Exactly.
Like why?
Right. Well, I mean, it's the Chuck Schumer outsource the opposition to the streets, but we're not going to lead on that. Lead, encourage it, have messaging that would complement it. No. That's on you, plebeians. Your job is to vote for us every 2 years and shut the fuck up.
This is from a month ago, the forward Jacob Kornblue talking about the polling. I don't waffle or waver because of what the polling said. He also mentions that he first visited the Jewish state at age 16, and his position is grounded in a long history with the country. Now, I don't know how long it could be, because he's only, 50 years old, and Israel's only 75. So
can you read that again to me? I want to translate that.
Yeah. I don't waffle or waver because of what polling said, he said.
Okay, so that's, I don't care what voters think.
Yes,
go on.
Because I have donors that are going to offset that.
Yep.
But he first visited the Jewish state at age 16. And I would suggest that maybe you are, there's a reason that you differ with 77% of your voters. It's because maybe you're a little bit too close to this, Josh.
This clip is actually aggravating me more than I thought it would. Let's keep going.
More important than, hey, what about this lobbying group or that lobbying group?
Well, what do you say to the critics who argue that U.S. foreign policy on Israel is often shaped not by national interest, but by the lobbying strength of these people?
I think that's a fair conversation to have.
Oh, thank you.
And I think it should be on any elected official at the federal level to say, hey, I'm listening to this group. But by the way, there's groups on other sides too. I'm listening to that group. But
listening is a funny word for taking money to pay for your campaigns. Like we're just having a idea symposium.
Oh yeah.
we're listening where it's you're taking money, blood money, Josh.
At the end of the day, we want our federal representatives to be able to sit here in this chair and answer the questions about why they voted
No, we
A,
don't.
Or why they voted B, or
no,
why
we
they feel a
don't.
certain
No, we
way.
don't.
And
I'm sorry. We don't. I don't care. We want them to change their votes.
Yeah.
What is mysterious about this? I'm sorry that Charlemagne the God politicized the Holocaust that's been happening in Gaza.
Or the political contributions.
We wouldn't want to get all political about the Holocaust. The active one.
I think it's just a little lazy to say, oh, it's got to be because of that interest group. Maybe someone actually believes those views, or maybe someone feels strongly about that particular way.
Is it possible for an elected official?
I mean, it's funny, but then just do it without taking the money for your campaigns. But I fully believe that somebody like Cory Booker would support Israel, or someone like Josh Shapiro, frankly, if he was president, would support Israel, and the money that he would take would just be because they are on the same team, which is to say, the bad guys.
Official to get millions of dollars from, corporate donors or even lobbying interests and still really work for the people over those?
Yeah. Look, I mean, you've asked me a few questions on that, and clearly I know you're bothered by that. I think we're all bothered by the amount of money in
corruption,
in politics, particularly.
He
the
did it
dark
there.
money
I was
that
waiting for
nobody
him to
kinda knows.
imply that Charlemagne was anti-Semitic. There you go. He asked me a lot of questions on that. He almost did the "it's interesting," but he's learning, from Gavin Newsom jumped in a little too quickly. He learned from that. So
he's a crook. Gavin Newsom, these people, they know that what they're doing is indefensible with this money. So it's like, oh, I'm listening to a lobby. I'm listening to it. The deposit hit my campaign's account. Yeah.
I honestly, what else do we need to hear from this?
Let's go a little bit more, just because it's horrible.
Keep going.
Clearly, I know you're bothered by that. I think we're all bothered by the amount of
Genocide?
money in politics, particularly the dark money
not the
that
genocide.
nobody kind of knows where it's coming from. But I think, largely the voters, I'll just speak to Pennsylvania, they're smart. They know who's on their side. They see it. I got voters who sometimes show up and vote for Republicans, sometimes vote for Democrats. They get it. I think that dark money can pollute it sometimes. Can crowd out the voices sometimes, but overall, I think voters are a lot smarter and they can see through that.
So, in other words, let me keep getting that money. Let me just keep taking it to support my campaign because I'm on your side, actually. Like,
the voters are smart. You are not listening to them. That's the problem.
He's calling them smart while he treats them like they're idiots.
Yeah, flattering them while you stab them in the back.
How
Nice.
can the Democratic Party address the problem of money in politics when some of the key candidates that people tip for the next presidential election are downplaying it?
What's also, putting aside the material support for the genocide, as we keep, talking about that, I know that that's at the top of everybody's mind. It should be. It's just amazing to me how he doesn't see that this is going to be an issue for him, or does see it and doesn't just choose to cut bait. Like, if you genuinely believe that the genocide is good, independent of the corrupting money, then we've got some pretty big problems with you already. It doesn't necessarily even matter where it comes from. It's the support for the genocide that's the problem.
What Shapiro represents is a post-democracy Democrat that is not really that concerned with that, because they're going to, whatever system we're moving towards, the oligarchic control of our campaigns, he's going to be someone who is going to represent the Democrats, even if it does entirely, and it already is very closely, get hollowed out by corporate interests. He doesn't care about money. He wants to downplay it because that's what gets him to this party. That's why he's at this dance.
Yep.
Through that.
When's the last time you told a donor no, even though it costs you politically?
That's happened many times in my career.
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting.
Can you pause it? Not
unethical or
not when there's some sort of murder investigation. Did you tell the donor no then?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you tell the donor no then?
Sometimes you have to tell some donors no because you have to tell other donors yes.
Donor was trying to do anything unethical or illegal, but I've had them, sometimes say to me, well, I believe in this and that and the other thing. And I'll say, look, you know what? Keep your money. I'm happy to be your friend, but I don't believe in that. And I'm not going to do that. And again, nothing wrong or unethical or illegal, but they've got a different view on things than I do. And frankly, I'm not interested in, having their support if they're going to look at things.
Sounds hypothetical.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have a problem with people taking the money. It's just that when you take the money and you're beholden to them, that's
All right, well.
I have a problem with people taking pro-Israel money.
Yeah. Anyway.
Unless you take it and then completely sell Israel out, in which case I'd love it.
That would be hilarious.
If somebody ran as like Israel, support me, I'm running against this person, and then became like
a reverse Fetterman.
Yeah, reverse Fetterman did. I would support you for having taken that money.
100%. Although, can you imagine if somebody did that and they might not get elected.
Let's say install ring cameras.
We miss right. I know. I was about to say Mossad will not be thrilled. Yeah. You took all our money and then you stabbed us in the back. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
You're gonna hang yourself in your prison cell soon.
You can't attack the settlers or they'll punish the village.
Yeah. Well, good point, Brian. Good point.
Hey, look, man, there's money around here. People take the money, but it's just to listen and stuff. It's just to facilitate conversation. Okay, we're just talking over here.
Also, AIPAC money, not taking AIPAC money is not enough to rule out
Correct.
a Zionist in a primary. So people should be smart and diligent about this because they're going to try to abandon AIPAC, but there are plenty of other vehicles to get Zionist money that still supports the underlying structure that has led to this genocide, which is the open-air prison that is Gaza, the West Bank and the settlements there, which is the ethno-supremacist project of Israel. That is what needs to end, and more candidates need to start. And I'm calling out progressives, and I wish even AOC would lead on this. She hasn't really, in terms of like saying one democratic state. I'm sure she's keeping her ambitions about New York State in mind, but I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, she's playing a role of sort of letting other members of the caucus, et cetera, lead on these issues and then sort of stamping some gains short of sort of what they're saying into permanence.
Yeah, and this is not, she's a leader on domestically on like the messaging against the Republicans right now, and that's very, very welcome. But I do wish that she could extend that to the conversation about ending the apartheid and one democratic state from the river to the sea, because like the Democrats are so far behind on the reality on this, and it's hurting the brand of the party, and it's kneecapping the opposition to fascism. It's
a serious injury the Democratic Party did by supporting the genocide, and that's even if you don't care about Palestinians. If you're just looking at the electoral performance of that party, supporting the genocide that everyone saw is, I don't know if I don't want to say terminal, but potentially the Democrats should act with some urgency to not make sure that was like not something that sinks them for decades.
Yep.
But I would also point out, as people like Seth Moulton decide they're not going to take AIPAC money, or they're going to indeed return it, that they will take the same blood money from other sources, including I would point out the major one in the Democratic Party is DMFI, the Democrat Majority for Israel PAC, which has announced a new slate of 2024 general election endorsements. It was September 9th last year. But people should just keep an eye on DMFI and which candidates it supports, because it is just AIPAC. It is the exact same thing as AIPAC. They use a different vocabulary to deny the genocide and dispossession that is going on with your taxpayer monies.
They made it harder to roll off the tongue. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
DMFI, how do you even pronounce that?
Yeah. That's interesting. It's interesting you would say that, Brian. Just interesting.
Yeah. Also, I think it's, what is it, illiterate as demify?
And yeah, demonify. And I would just say, yes, it is a shortcut. It is a shortcut to find out if someone's on your side, if they support Israel or not. Sorry, it is. In 2025, it frankly was one prior to that would have maybe put us onto the Fetterman trail a little bit early, because Ben Burgess wrote a Progressive Except for Palestine a thing on him, which you won't find written about Graham Plattner, for people making that comparison. But it's a shortcut, and you don't like that there's a shortcut helping regular people understand what's wrong with the corruption in our political system.
100%. And now that you mentioned Plattner, it reminds me. I saw an IM earlier, but we didn't get a chance to read it, and I can't find it fully right now. But there was somebody asking about his work for Blackwater, and they were worried that it would be a Sinema situation, in part because Sinema was a Green Party person who became obviously a very, very conservative corporatist Democrat, then independent, and then left the Senate and cashed in. Plattner addressed that in our interview with him immediately. Part of the problem is that we do not give our members of the military the skills that they need to reintegrate into society, especially if you've been in combat. And Plattner needed to make money, and he said that in our interview, that he worked in a private capacity during that time period. And I do not think that is disqualifying given his explanation about it at all. I guess we'll just read some IMs and get out of here. We didn't get to too much today, but we will
Played
tomorrow.
a lot of clips during Jasper.
Yep, we did. Did we? I was about to lose my fucking mind, dude.
Sam's boomer mom.
I love Sam, but oh my god. I truly love him, but he was killing me with that. Sage Sunday. MTG is unfortunately eating most Dems' lunch on Israel, and that's a fucking problem. AOC and the rest of progressives need to wake up. I mean, look.
People say that.
Yeah, go.
The bar is low. People, I think, particularly AOC should, and they're getting there. AOC said some things about Palestine and the support over the last couple of years and the complicity of the previous Democratic administration that makes me think she's moving in that direction. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not better than Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar on Israel Palestine, and she will never be for her entire life. So I think people do need to get a little bit of a grip on themselves.
But the messaging or the aggressive, but she's angling. She wants to run for president, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or something else. And I think Jeet made the best point about this, which is that she is doing the Trump playbook and seeing the existing vulnerabilities in the Republican Party and what some in the base, specifically younger people, are reacting to, and there's no cost to her. The one thing you can say about her is that she's free to say this because she, Bernie, and AOC are, I think, the 3 top small dollar fundraisers in the federal government, outside of course, the executive branch. And that has given her, she doesn't take AIPAC money, unlike the rest of the frickin' Republican Party. So I do think that's given her like a bit more freedom. But 2, it's just she's angling for higher office and is trying to do what Trump did, calling out the vulnerabilities within the base to do so.
And it's a sort of man bites dog thing where Republicans get way more credit. Like, look at the thing, Dave Smith. Like, you see this in our thing too. Like, certain like right wing or libertarian people, well, they say something that we've been saying for like 20 years about Israel Palestine. Everyone's like, oh my God, look at this truth teller, because just people are used to people like us saying it. And when it comes out of the mouth of like a fascist adjacent person like Marjorie Taylor Greene or libertarian like commodifier for the Republicans like Dave Smith, it becomes, this amazing thing to be said.
She's also a white lady, and Rashida and Ilhan are not, and they're Muslim too, so they're going to be like, of course they're outspoken.
Right.
They're going to take their criticisms for granted. Yeah.
I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has literally attacked people for speaking out against Israel before.
Yep. Kowalski from Nebraska. I might do a reverse Fetterman in the context of reaching out to Monsanto the next time I run for political office, and then we're going to start hearing a lot of talk about nationalization of the seed companies.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be so funny to do that. if I had I don't know if I had like some sort of like small nest egg to spend on something, like it would definitely be running a political campaign that sort of hoovers up all the centrist money and then turns on them.
Todd from Raleigh. Emma, I'm watching a horror movie every night till Halloween. Do you recommend any? I am not a horror person, despite loving movies, even ones that are popular. I don't like horror. It scares me. But Matt is the person to ask here.
I love horror movies in general. Off the top of my head, I'll have to think. Come back to me.
Hereditary and Barbarian for recent memory.
Oh yeah, those two are great.
Oh, I haven't seen Barbarian. I did see Hereditary and I did see Midsommar, but does Midsommar count? I loved Midsommar.
Hereditary is much more of a horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, what's the name of that filmmaker? He also did The Witch, right?
Aster?
Yeah.
Ari Aster?
No. Damn it. Wait. Ari Aster did Midsommar, right? Yeah. Wow.
And he did Hereditary.
Yeah. Okay. The Witch is Eggers. The Witch is Eggers. Yeah, go on.
There's one, Men, which is, I believe, another A24 one.
It is A24.
But there is a scene in that, I don't want to give too much away, that's Alex Garland, looks like, a scene with a tunnel that I think is one of a great, just one of the best sort of executed rising tension horror sequences that I've seen in a movie. So I would recommend Men 2022.
MJS 617. Shapiro sounds so slimy here. Yes. One king, one time. Honestly, whenever a Democrat tries to explain support for Israel, it's brutal. That's why they also don't even do what he's saying they should do. Exactly.
I mean, that answer was a absolute masterclass in bullshit. Like, we can these conversations that he thinks are actually out of bounds, that have been trying to be prompted by students on universities that in the state that he is governor of. He's all of a sudden saying, "Oh no, these are great conversations. We can have that conversation. We just have to have it within the confines of the way I like to have that conversation, which is that people that talk about Israel so much are anti-Semitic."
Incidentally said, I thought lawn jockey was a reference to the people who manicure the lawns of rich people.
No.
No.
It's an old-timey racist thing. You have to be either old or had done time in the South like I did to know about it.
Yes.
Yeah, Google them. Although I'm seeing a lot, maybe this is in the post-woke era, because some of these are
there's a lot of
white.
ones these days.
There are white lawn jockeys now, looks like. So look at representation. White people are now represented.
America, I mean, God, this is where wokeness has gone too far.
It's literally people in jockey clothing. What the fuck is...
I don't know.
America is the weirdest fucking place.
It's so weird, and it's like, I mean, it's the non-woke version of the gnomes on people's lawns, right?
Oh my god, the Jocko stuff. It is just a...
Shofar So Good says, I went to leave a shitty review for Shiloh Winery, the one Jasper mentioned, and there are already a bunch of 1-star reviews posted in the last 10 minutes. Well done,
It's
Emma
one of the
listener.
most
Well done.
egregious things I've ever seen in my life. If you
I
want to go
mean,
there and trash it, please do.
I checked it out. Probably should mention to any potential patrons of the wine or people who are ordering it online that it's on stolen land. Leftist rage. Hearing Graham's statement made me appreciate him even more. Self-reflection is an important attribute.
I would recommend at Wide of the Post on Twitter, a user who's been going through a lot of Graham's messages for frankly, it makes him look human. Here's one, just my back, yoga bro. I've got some slip discs, which can be a real bitch, but core work can help stabilize everything and elongate your spine enough to take some pressure off. Core work ain't ab work. Do planks and stabilize and exercise anecdotally. Throw in some lighter KB switches. I'm a big fan of Graham.
Yeah, he spends so much time helping other vets get VA benefits too. I mean,
yeah. Socialism.
Sorry, just to cut
it's
out
okay.
in, but today would be a good day to make a contribution to Graham if you were ever thinking of doing it.
Yeah. Socialist mom Heather Cox Richardson was asked about Plattner the other day, and her answer sucks. She played the Mills Has More Experience card. I was disappointed, but not surprised. Well, I mean, that's why I've never kind of been a huge fan of her Substack.
she's throwing on flannels now as she runs against Graham.
Oh well,
Mills's?
That's
she's
the
in main face.
That's the Tucker Carlson playbook, right?
Yes, Tucker's also in main face.
He's very much. Todd from Rally O&M, if you haven't seen The Substance, you might like it. My movie of last year, very gory, but none of it is exploitative. I have not seen it because the gore is the exact thing that keeps me away from most horror, but I have heard amazing things about The Substance.
I love the Smile movies, both 1 and 2.
Watch Eraserhead.
Oh, Bagman was good too, or was it Baghead?
Skid Mark Twain, my favorite horror movie is Ernest Goes to Jail.
Dude, those Ernest, I shouldn't vouch for him because I haven't watched him in like 10 years, but I loved him.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're like.
3 more. Ed Ebbs, 65-year-old alum of SUNY Albany. We stole all of the lawn jockeys in my area. My proudest Great Dane moments. Oh, that's so fun.
Oh, I got another horror here. This one's with John Lithgow. The Rule of Jenny Penn, and Lithgow plays a villain in a sort of old folks' home, and it is really good.
Ooh.
It's one for folks who don't need the sort of supernatural or like gore, if memory serves.
Perfect Pitch scared the shit out of me.
Ooh.
Anything with Jimmy Fallon is horrifying.
Fever Pitch, you mean?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Inspector Cuno, Weapons is dope and will be streaming on HBO soon. And the final IM of the day. I read that one. Me Cat Tanky. Did you all see a noticeable amount of people wearing yellow at No Kings on Saturday? No Kings organizers were urging attendees to wear yellow in support of Ukraine's Azov Battalion and the NATO-backed Color Revolution of Hong Kong. Did any of the MR crew wear yellow? To be honest with you, I didn't go to No Kings.
I didn't hear anything about that.
I'm moving at the end of the month, and it's very stressful. So, had to do some packing, but appreciate you all. We're gonna wrap up here. I think that was the final AM of the day. Maybe one more, and then we'll go.
I love this. Dave Weigel, Plattner campaign now posting the Reddit post he's proud of, pushing back against the impression he was just saying stuff he has to apologize for, which is really important. The way people are reducing a lot of this stuff, I think it's good for Graham not to just act like he was being horrific. Because like when people say like, oh, it was a PTSD or whatever, like everything he said is easily like saying like, oh, I've moved on from that. That maybe wasn't the wisest thing to say, but there's nothing like felonious about it at all.
Right. MJS617, that's a great point, Emma. The Dem establishment is so quick to squash a candidate they don't like and release Oppo research. They didn't stop to ponder that this is in direct contradiction to their hysteria over losing ground with the very demographic that Graham represents. Hear, hear.
They would rather retain their own power than build the power of for everybody within the left of center.
Most useless party ever.
Yeah. With that said, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
It might take all the strength I got to get to where I want, but I know somehow I'm gonna get there. I wasn't looking when I just got caught between the truth and the light bulb, but finding out won't make me feel any better. Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light's shining bright. I get somewhere the choice was made, for the option where you don't get paid, for the road that bends before it finally breaks you. I guess somehow I lost my drive